Ladies and gents, how you doing? This one's for Colin Griffiths, who said, he's an idiot, mate. Tomorrow's video. What are we talking about exactly? Well, I'll tell you. Now then, there's a lot of idiots that you could be talking about. When someone says he's an idiot in the UK, you are positively replete with people to choose from. But perhaps chief amongst them is this wonky-faced inbred, a man whose face tells him, yes, my parents are closely related. Okay, it's Humza useless. And I wanted to talk about this because it's a genuinely repellent video by a religious extremist that somehow managed to ride on the coattails of anti-English sentiment all the way into the top job in Scotland. It's genuinely unbelievable that happened, but that's what the SNP are good at. They're somehow convinced millions of Scots, men and women, that Geordies and Scousers and people from the borough, we're too different from Scottish people. We don't have anything in common with them. We're not culturally, basically identical. No, we're different. So they need to distance themselves from their English relatives, because that's what they are. The inhabitants of the British Isles and Ireland have been shagging each other senseless, and the Scandies and the Frogs and the Germans, let's be honest. We've all been shagging each other for the last 2,000 years. It's genuinely preposterous to me that a man, a creature who, what did he call himself again?
I'm grateful to the Prime Minister for making time for me, and of course I'm very proud of being the first Scottish Pakistani to become First Minister of Scotland. So I'm a son of the soil there in Pakistan.
Yeah, that was it. A son of the soil of Pakistan. Not my words. His. Obviously, I wouldn't be as eloquent. I'd simply make a reference to a Puma trackie, as you all know. But this video is going to be about him because he's just made a genuinely repellent speech on X, and I think it's time to haul him across the coals for it. If you're an Englishman that thinks it's somewhat offensive that a man like that can claim to be more Scottish than you are, or maybe you're just an irate Scotsman, or maybe you're just sensible enough to realise that the people who practice the same faith that saw the Southport atrocity, the Manchester Evening News Arena bombing, Borough Market, London Bridge, 7/7, and every other act of mass slaughter, plus 500,000 young English girls getting the bones jumped by hairy-ass men. If you simply have a problem with that particular ideology, and you definitely have no intention of ever shouting loudly about the merits of Alan's world-famous snack bar, then I suggest you stay tuned in, because he's getting both barrels, this knobhead. Right, here's his tweet. He said, bloody, can't say that word, female dog. Yeah, it's the middle word. You can't say on this platform, not the last one. This is what John Ashby shouted at his victim as he abused her. And while doing it, he screamed, oh my God, well, this is beyond the pale, isn't it? Beyond the pale. This did not happen in a vacuum. This is what happens when hate is mainstreamed, when cowards in suits pretend their words have no consequences. Before I rip every line in that demonstrably backwards, brain dead, I mean, it's so bad. I'm assuming that it was written in Urdu and he just got Google Translate on the job. But before I rip that to bits, let's watch what he actually has to say, shall we?
Bloody Muslim. That's what John Ashby shouted at his victim as he raped her. He followed a woman home, broke into her house, strangled her, poured hot water all over her. And while doing it, he screamed anti-Muslim abuse, calling her a Muslim, calling himself her British master. She told him, I'm not Muslim, I'm Sikh. But it didn't matter. Because this wasn't about who she was. It was about who he thought she was. And let's be absolutely clear. This did not happen in a vacuum. This is exactly what happens when politicians, pundits, far-right grifters spend years telling people that Muslims are dangerous, are alien, are a threat to their way of life. When they dehumanize Muslims day after day, eventually some violent racist is going to decide to act on it. This is exactly where hatred leads. Not just to abuse online, not just to slurs in the street, but to violence, to terror, to... Don't tell me this is an isolated incident. It's exactly what happens when hate is mainstreamed, when are turned into targets, and when cowards in suits pretend that their words have no consequences.
Right, thank God I don't have to look at his wonky face anymore. That was unbelievable. Even the way he delivered it, the sort of really slow cadence, the fake authenticity as he's leaning into the camera and delivering his slow lines with his cold, dead, wonky eyes. The whole thing was a appalling performance. He was chewing the scenery like the bloke who played Q in Star Trek. It was an unbelievable, embarrassing performance. Nobody watching that thinks he believes a word of anything he's just said. He's not that stupid. You don't get to be the Prime Minister of Scotland without being at least somewhat of a Machiavellian operator. He's not that thick. Essentially what he's doing here is he's trying to paint all of the abuse, and I say all of the abuse, the very, very rare occasions of abuse directed at regulars at the snack bar. He's trying to basically say that's Rupert Law's fault, that's Nigel Farage's fault, that's anyone in a suit's fault, any politician who isn't willing to bend over, grab their ankles, and let Humza's chums drive one straight up the poop chute. Okay? Unless you're a full-blown cook to a foreign religious ideology that has been waging outright war against you, your wives, and your children for the last 30 years, unless you let them do as they please, you're causing violence. He doesn't believe a word of it, all right? You know it, I know it. Nigel Farage giving milquetoast, politely worded criticisms, and even Rupert Law, he's never said anything genuinely hateful. Those things don't cause violence and revenge attacks against people that share the faith. Of course they don't. I've made the same point about Tony Romo. People don't turn against them because of a little bit of talking. A bloke's not going to watch this video, just a guy giving you his opinions, and go, that had such a profound effect on me, I'm willing to do 25 years in jail. Yeah, of course I am. It's preposterous. You know what makes people really, really, really angry and want to take to the streets and hurt people that look like Humza useless? Well, I mean, I could show you a few good examples. There's one. Little cute blonde-haired girl with pigtails, killed by, you guessed it, an Albanian. Guess what religion they practice? The majority of the country is Sunni or Bektashi, snack bar, and cutting throats is their MO. So there's one for the butcher's bill. What else? Oh yeah, poor old Fusilier Rigby. Who killed him? Oh yeah, these fellas. They practiced a very specific ideology as well. Shall we do one more? Do I need to show you any more? Do I need to say anything? Do I need to bother opening my mouth? I was going to show you the 3 victims and the 10 that'll be afflicted the rest of their lives, but if I did that, I'd probably want to fling my desktop out the window, so I won't bother. Needless to say, the government covered it all up, but he had an Al-Qaeda training manual on his computer, and he was trying to make rice in. So I'll give you one guess which ideology he's a big fan of. Therefore, this bell end, who said almost nothing about the industrial scale torture and abuse and surprise sexing of 500,000 innocent English women and children, who said nothing about any of it, all of a sudden he finds the exception to the rule. That's what it is. It's the exception to a rule. He finds one bloke who carried out what appears to be a religiously motivated attack, or certainly an attack against one specific religious group, if it's true. Oh yeah, and the victim wasn't one of them. Funny old thing. Weird that, innit? Weird. He's crying about it. He's making it all about him. The victim wasn't even a regular at the snack bar. She was a Sikh. So what's the point? I mean, what's the point in this video? Shall I just pack it in there? Yeah, let's. To sum up, that man is a viper. He's an absolute snake. He doesn't believe the shit that he's shoveling. Everybody knows it. You can tell by the way he delivers his lines. You can tell because the victim wasn't practitioner of his own backwards, laughably ridiculous faith, founded by an epileptic, pot-bellied midget, plagiarized from the Bible. It's total drivel, the whole lot of it. Everything he said is bollocks and self-interest, and anybody with a hole in their ass knows it. All right? Before I go, however, I'll just quickly leave you with this because it's funny. Brilliant. Love that. Cheers, Humza. And I hope that put a spring in your step to end the video on a high. All right? Thanks for tuning in. See you all tomorrow. Toodle pip. Cheers.